the big win for him would be that he was even willing to do it and that he could do well for a little bit. And then eventually just deal with the fact that Anthony Joshua is going to connect with a bomb.
Yeah.
And breaks his jaw in 2 places.
Yes.
You could only take so much. Like that one that he got from Joshua, ooh.
Yeah.
There was a lot of concussions in that one punch. That was real damage. Like if someone's breaking your jaw in 2 places, the inside of your fucking head that's going to get you. Because at a certain point in time, the price you pay.
The humid Miami night on December 19th was charged with a tension that felt less like a sporting event and more like a high-stakes social experiment. When the dust finally settled at the Casilla Center, the combat sports world was left grappling with a reality that felt both inevitable and entirely surreal. The image of Jake Paul, a man who built an empire on digital influence, lying motionless on the canvas while Anthony Joshua celebrated a victory that many felt took far too long to arrive, has sparked a firestorm of controversy that is currently tearing the boxing community apart. It wasn't just a loss that stunned the crowd. It was the sheer, visceral brutality of the conclusion, a moment where the carefully constructed world of celebrity boxing collided head-on with the terrifying reality of elite heavyweight power. The aftermath of that 6th-round knockout has moved far beyond the ring and into the realm of legal threats, medical emergencies, and explosive accusations of corruption. Joe Rogan.
There's maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 Anthony Joshuas that can punch, that can avoid punches, that know what they're doing in the ring. So Jake will struggle at top level, but he has a place in boxing if he wants to stay, in my opinion. So credit to him and his team for getting him this far.
Perhaps the most influential voice in the world of combat sports, has undergone a dramatic transformation in his perspective on the YouTuber turned boxer. Initially, Rogan was one of the few mainstream voices defending Paul's audacity. He had praised the young man for having the guts to step into a ring with a specialist like Anthony Joshua, an Olympic gold medalist and former unified heavyweight champion known for possessing what Rogan described as nuclear power. Rogan had warned his massive audience that if Joshua's right hand connected, it would be lights out in a way that was not hyperbole but simple physics. However, the tone of the conversation shifted instantly once the medical reports from Miami University Hospital began to surface. Jake Paul didn't just lose. He was physically dismantled. The impact of Joshua's right hand shattered Paul's jaw in 2 distinct places, requiring a grueling multi-hour emergency surgery to install titanium plates. This wasn't a show injury. It was a career-altering trauma. Rogan, speaking on his podcast with a level of raw emotion that reportedly shocked his own production team, suggested that the price Paul is paying for this venture might eventually lead to deep neurological consequences, including severe depression and brain imbalances. He spoke about the punch card every fighter carries, suggesting that the single blow from Joshua was equivalent to 10 normal concussions compressed into one terrifying moment of impact. But the medical drama is only half the story. The boxing world is currently divided by a deep, jagged line over the legitimacy of the fight itself. The controversy was ignited when veteran boxing promoter Lou DiBella released a viral video questioning why a fighter of Joshua's caliber took 6 rounds to finish an opponent he was widely expected to destroy in the first few minutes. DiBella's accusations that Joshua was pulling punches and that the fight lacked the intensity of a genuine professional bout opened a Pandora's box of skepticism. These whispers of a fix or an influenced outcome have gained such momentum that rumors began to circulate about authorities looking into the suspicious circumstances surrounding the event. The response from Jake Paul's camp, specifically Most Valuable Promotions co-founder Nikki Sabidarian, has been one of scorched earth legal aggression. Bidarian has taken to major platforms like the Ariel Helwani Show to dismiss these claims as baseless and defamatory, pointing to the titanium plates currently holding Paul's face together as ultimate proof of the fight's authenticity. He argued that Paul's strategy of moving, pivoting, and clenching was not a sign of a rigged match, but a standard tactical response to a larger, more powerful opponent. The same elusiveness that legends like Floyd Mayweather used to build their careers. Yet, the skepticism persists, fueled by revelations regarding the fight's contract. Insiders have leaked details about unusual clauses that seem designed to handicap Joshua long before he ever laced up his gloves. Reports suggest that Joshua was restricted to a weigh-in limit of 245 pounds, an unusually light weight for a natural heavyweight of his stature. To many, these weird restrictions represented a calculated attempt to manipulate the conditions of the fight to give Paul a fighting chance, blurring the line between clever matchmaking and something more sinister. Rogan himself questioned where the line should be drawn, asking at what point these maneuvers start to permanently damage the credibility of the sport. The shadow of the Mike Tyson fight in November 2024 still looms large over the situation. That event, which many critics described as little more than a controlled sparring session with a 58-year-old man, set a precedent of doubt that Paul has been unable to shake. Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas and other purists have expressed deep frustration with the circus atmosphere of crossover boxing, arguing that the sport cannot survive if every major event is dogged by accusations of being a WWE-style script. When fighters are reportedly walking away with $93 million each, sums that dwarf the earnings of most top-tier UFC contenders and traditional boxers, the financial incentive to keep the entertainment going becomes a primary point of suspicion. Despite the astronomical payouts and the digital fame, the physical reality remains undeniable. Those who were ringside in Miami described the sound of the final punch as something that could be heard throughout the entire arena, a sickening crack, followed by a heavy silence as Paul collapsed. For a moment, the theories about rigged contracts and pulled punches vanished in the face of a human being unconscious and bleeding on the canvas. Joshua, for his part, maintained a level of class in the immediate aftermath, praising Paul for his resilience and for getting back up repeatedly when most would have stayed down. But even his sportsmanship hasn't been enough to silence the critics who wonder if the warrior narrative was part of the plan all along. The current atmosphere in the boxing community is one of profound uncertainty. On one side, there is a camp that sees Jake Paul as a brilliant businessman who has successfully disrupted a stagnant industry, laughing all the way to the bank while his critics scream from the sidelines. On the other side is a group of concerned analysts and former champions who believe that the influencer era of boxing is a ticking time bomb. They worry that the pursuit of viral moments and massive pay-per-view numbers is leading the sport toward a slow death, where the lines between reality and choreography are permanently erased. Joe Rogan's most controversial claim, that there should be serious consequences, or even jail time if the accusations of a fixed fight turn out to be true, has set a new benchmark for the intensity of this debate. It is a massive statement coming from someone who typically champions the freedom of the market and the Wild West nature of combat sports. It suggests that even for Rogan, a boundary was crossed in Miami. Whether it was the medical severity of the injury or the surrounding whispers of corruption, the narrative has shifted from, can a YouTuber box, to, is this industry fundamentally broken? As Jake Paul begins a long and likely painful recovery process, the legal battles are only just beginning.